Let's collect our bounty. Here we go.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Yo, Lockin, you want to play? There we go. We got him. Okay. Do you think the combination of 3 different lanes to go with unlimited hand size and inability to see your hand well makes the game too confusing and intimidating for new players? To a degree, yeah. I don't think that's maybe the biggest problem this game has right now in terms of growth. I mean, that's not like the reason why the game has like, you know, a 10K player base. But yeah, it's the reason that the game is kind of designed to be somewhat of a niche product. So normally, you don't really want to kind of go out of your way to color spread. We have a hand where we have 5 different plays to make this turn potentially, which means Zeus could go here to color spread if we want to be able to play Prey left. Now, Prey left is pretty good. He's got initiative right now, which is actually working against him. I like the idea of Prey left, and if we want to D-portal on one of the other lanes, putting the Zeus here does make some sense. Unfortunately, I'm kind of wasting my Zap. Zappy Zap is really good mid. And we might draw something to play off of Gondar anyway. This is not the kind of hand where... Honestly, I might actually play this here. It's a really rare circumstance. But I think I'm actually going to use my blue man on every lane. And I'll just diminish my own static field value by playing him into 1 unit. Well, no units in this case. Yeah, okay, this is good. So we've got a hand where we really want to go off. If he opens with Sanctum, we're just going to do the same thing. Because right now he's got initiative, and this initiative is actually working against him. He does not want initiative right now. More like 5K player base. Oh, are we down to 5K again? Nice. Do you guys consider LC Splash good? Life Coach Splash? So we can pray on the weak here. He's actually passing off of this. I think the odds of him having at any cost in hand are very high. You like the ability to take something like the Sanctum. Pray on the weak basically just kind of loses to at any cost. But it does kind of force him to kill his own units, which I think is fine. If you look at this at any cost, it's not incredible for him, right? If you look at the Ignite potential, it's a lot better for him, but he has not committed it yet. So we could take something like the Sanctum here. Developing a Sanctum on the left lane is always just a good idea. So then the follow-up question is, if we're unit spamming, do we play Prey or D-Portal? Right now, I don't think we have a better opportunity to Prey. And D-Portal is actually kind of more value because it survives against something like Ignite. So if he's about to play Ignite onto this lane, I actually would rather like taking the D-Portal. That's really interesting. He's not saving for at any cost. Maybe we do take the D-Portal. I've got to stop wasting so much time on these early decisions. This is how I end up in these like high APMs. Oh, we're gods. This is how we end up in these high APM scenarios in the late game. It's a disaster. I burn through all of my rope on these like ignites and this. Do I D-portal or do I pray? It's like fairly minor stuff. Like it matters, but maybe it's not worth using time over because time is a really, really valuable resource. So I think we just take the D-portal here. This is a fairly good D-portal, just trying to fight off of damage for this tower. Maybe in this matchup though, tower health is just a non-resource though, because when they go off, they one-shot a tower no matter what. Maybe I should just foresight here. That's weird. But yeah, as you can see, we actually had a very unique situation. Due to having a very low curving hand, we're actually spending blue mana on every lane, which means putting the Zeus to the right is something that we kind of have to do in order to kind of be tempo efficient. Really wish we had drawn track here, or even Iron Frog Goldmine. That would have been good. Obviously, we're not going to use initiative this early into the game, so we just take a foresight here. Was Zeus supposed to be literally the king of Greek gods? Yeah, isn't that the mythos? We obviously just hold on to this gold. The thing is, Bounty Hunter hasn't really done it. What if it is just mono blue and you just run and one for me as Investor? What if that's actually just the thing you're supposed to do? So right now, he doesn't seem to have Ignite in his opener hand, which is a vulnerability that we're just going to go ahead and start punishing. Putting the Kana here is pretty good. Spawns into that 3-2 every time. Great exchange. And he needs to start drawing Ignite to punish this. Otherwise, the Kana onto the same lane as the dogs is kind of like punishable by AoE, but not really. It's too early for that to cust. There's a good Payday. So Bounty Hunter's still alive. Payday's looking up good. Why not Sorla instead of Bounty? This is a deck that's really, really playing for control. I mean, so you're looking at Deep Portal and Dogs and looking at like the Sorla combo potential. In reality, this is a control deck that's using those to kind of chump block and stall out. We're not really playing for aggression, and Bounty's track is giving us the ability to play for Payday here. Also, his 1 extra health is actually important to keep him alive. And whenever you're dealing with a splash, any prospect of being able to keep your heroes alive more and more is just great. So we can take something like a double Ignite on the mid lane. Kills off one of his creeps, I guess. If we foresight, we could draw something like at any cost. This mid lane is kind of bizarre, actually. Honestly, double igniting this lane feels, I think, pretty good. It's a little off curve, but we are killing a few extra units by doing this. This looks like a Sir Action Slack stack. You take that back. What?
The wind whispers.
Yeah, we lost. I guess he got us. So the reason that blue decks counter Storm. Dude, are you actually killing my Zeus? Or, sorry, my rat. I wonder if this is worth it. Double, like, using stars to double Thunder Gods early just to block out Payday. Oh, okay. So, Payday's blocked out. This is pretty unfortunate. This is like, you know, you might say the weakness of splashing a hero. It is the weakness of splashing a hero. It really makes you think. Like, I'm getting to Vestra numbers just by saving up gold, guys. I'm not using... I have basically, in both of these games, I have yet to use a single black card. I guess my Bounty Hunter killed a hero in both games due to his high attack value. So, without the Bounty Hunter, I do actually have less gold in both of these games. Okay, this one looks like a loss, I think. Do you recommend spending real money on artifact? What's your tendency on artifact trend? That's a difficult question. It really depends on, you know, your... You know, how you're feeling about it, right? So we have guaranteed initiative here. There's actually, well, unless he wants to use something weird like Stars Align, there's no way he could steal initiative back from us in the mid lane. He would have to use like Stars Sanctum. He would have to like gust Stars into initiative steal, right? Because otherwise we will always be able to take it back, and he can only steal initiative once, and we have initiative natively. So we have guaranteed initiative for the Annihilate. I think he blew his load a little early. This is something that Storm players erroneously do quite often. So he tries to steal initiative back with Arcane Assaults, and we just take it back one more time. So in answer to your question, I don't know. It depends on you as an individual. I think so. I assume the reason you're asking is because you enjoy Artifact, but you're concerned that the game is literally going to die. If that's your reasoning, yeah, spend money on Artifacts. It's not literally going to die. Now, if you are a player who isn't sure whether you'll enjoy Artifacts, then honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea to wait. The game, you know, doesn't have like the full amount of features that it should, honestly, right now. Yeah. And if you kind of want to give it a bit of time, like, it's a game that will get better over time. And also, something like expansions will make the competitive constructed experience better. If you're a constructed player, honestly, go ahead and wait until the first or second expansion before spending money on it. Because right now, the best thing about the game is draft. And there's a lot of people that really enjoy the constructed. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. There's nothing really wrong with the constructed, per se. So Eclipse right now will either kill the Drow or the Salamane. I mean, well, sometimes it leaves the Kana alive. But one thing will survive at 2 health, and it's usually the Drow or the Salamane. If I leave the Salamane alive, it will just die to the Ignite. That's a good outcome. If I leave the Kana or the Drow alive, I think it's fine.
15 seconds
YOLO. And we're good. He's got nothing. So now this just dies to ignite anyway. So that's a pretty good eclipse. So we passed him back initiative, which means on the left side he's going to have his way with us. Got a triple Payday hand. I don't know. I mean, Payday does, in theory, make the most sense in a blue deck. In theory. You look at Payday as a card, you need items that are able to both stabilize as well as kind of secure a win condition.
You can't hide from Zeus.
And blue decks don't really need the money early. I mean, he hasn't really put pressure on us. Like, he blew his load really early. He already used 2 Thunder Gods. I mean, we expect him to gust us left, but we kind of don't really carry there. Kana's about to die to the upkeep on Ignite. So we want to put Luna left and then just control all 3 lanes. Payday goes where it's safest, which is this lane, where it doesn't get, like, annihilated or anything. This deployment just looks good, right? Luna left because, you know, Lucent Beam just makes you want to go left. Bounty Hunter where it's safest, and then Zeus to just keep our options open. No reason to do anything fancy with deployments when we're winning. Fancy deployment is more of a... I mean, it's more of something to do when you're running, like, a more aggressive deck. Like when the game is closing out.
I killed you. No, I did. No, I did.
That's interesting. So we just annihilate here, right? I guess we could actually Thunder Gods. Thunder Godsing is less gold.
Seconds remaining.
I mean, the gold doesn't matter. We have more gold than we're literally ever going to be able to use. At that point, though, it's just funny. You know what? Screw it. Like, we're winning anyway. You might as well just, like, go for a record, right?
Let's collect our bounty.
I think we're gonna win this.
Let's collect our bounty. Here we go.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Go big or go home. Friendly reminder, we actually have like nothing to buy in our shop. This is just a stupid play. That's why we splashed Bounty Hunter. I mean, it looks really impressive until you remember you actually have nothing to buy with this. This is just meme value at this point. The thing about Bounty Hunter is even when he gets punished, you're typically in a position where it doesn't really make you like lose the game or anything. The problem is, so Payday is a really OP card, but all the items in the shop kind of suck. Like, pretty much everything more expensive than 10 gold is really, really, really inflated. He threw the initiative away. Yeah, I mean, presumably he was just cycling. He is the only one with spawning heroes anyway, guys. Has there been a situation where all 10 heroes are dead? Yeah. I've been, it's very awkward when all 10 heroes are dead and both players just pass across for a full turn. It's kind of funny.
Just give me a
Being
little
able to talk to your opponent is neat.
I have heard your prayers.
I don't know. The question is, does this really help this deck's win condition? I mean, I can cut the Bolt of Damocles, right? I can just use like Thunder, Horn Horn of the Alpha instead. Although it's not really the same thing. Bolts has the ability to kind of over the top the opponent when they have defenders and with initiative. So even when we get to that late game condition, maybe Horn of the Alpha is still just not as good as Bolt. The fact that Bolt cost you the main deck slot is kind of unfortunate. Now what you could do is you could just run a mono blue deck that uses N1 for Mies, Hourglasses, and Vestors. Or maybe like one Vestor. Just for the ability to kind of clone it in higher end matchups. What's a matchup that mono blue wants to clone multiple Vestors against? I'm not sure. So, I mean, we're obviously losing this tower. If he has the ability to steal back initiative again here, which presumably he does because he just cycled an Arcane Assault. He would never do that if you didn't have one more. We should just lose the game. Yeah, I guess we do have a few Vestors. I guess 3 Vestors kind of makes you hard-pressed to lose a game. I forgot about that. I'm actually really curious to see if he can win this game at this point. Because, like, in theory, he has what should typically be just an auto-win condition, right? And, like, all of my heroes are dead. I've got nothing. He might just kill me right this turn, right? Like, the fact that he killed all my heroes in the same turn is really good for him. And this is where just, like, hoarding the gold has really hurt me. Because the ability to buy something like Stonehall Cloaks early would prevent these heroes from being able to die. This is why I'm not sure how much I like the idea of Vestor against this Storm deck. Because I've heard Strifecrow and Matthias say that this deck kind of obliterates Storm. And by this deck, I mean black-blue, which obviously is an extremely different deck. It's, in all likelihood, better than this, because this is just an experimental deck, right? But the idea of black-blue annihilating Storm feels like it's definitely a little high-rolling. I mean, all he needs is one other card, right? Okay. So Payday is not, it's not really a card you need that many of. The problem with Payday is there's no item that really rewards you enough for kind of how Payday shapes the game, right?